Good morning, everybody. Mr. Nolan back and better than ever. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about homework 6.2a, which is a test review over finding the part, whole, or percent. If you notice, this is PreAp. So if you are in regulars, the first page is exactly the same. The back page is also exactly the same. The only difference for PreAp is the second part of your test is going to be percent of change. So PreAp, you have 3 extra questions on the second page. Let's go ahead and get started. Yes, I'm going to get started over here because this is Quadrant 1. Okay, find the percent. An estimated 3 out of every 25 men are left-handed. What percent of men are left-handed? Now, I'm very big on the percent bar, so let's go ahead and start with percent bar. Remember the 4 things that we are always given. We're always given the starting place, 100%. We know this is where the whole number goes. So let's see, an estimated 3 out of every 25 men are left-handed. Well, there are 25 total men, so that's your whole. 3 of them are left-handed. So it says what percent? So we're solving for this percent right here. This is my unknown. Alright, well let's see. The first thing I tell my students is there a good scale factor? That's the easiest way to do it. Is there a scale factor? Well, in this case, yes there is. To go from 25 to 100, you just multiply by 4. Therefore, 3 times 4 is 12. But look where we are. We're on the bottom. Bottom is my percents. So your answer should be 12%. Look how nice and easy that was. Number 2. Esteban has a big jar of change in his room. He has 60 coins total. 24 of them are pennies. What percentage of the coins are pennies? Again, percent bar. Now, some of you are going to say, these problems look very similar to like what we've done before. Well, and honestly, some of these problems are the same. We just want you to get used to finding the part, whole, or the percent. So we want you to get used to setting up the percent bar right. Okay, so it says you have 60 total coins. Well, that's your whole. The part is 24 of them are pennies. So here's your part. We are solving for the percent. Again, start with scale factor. Is there a good scale factor? Well, to get from 24 to 60, that's not a good scale factor. To get from 60 to 100, that's not a good scale factor. So what I'm going to do is it gives me the part and it gives me the whole, so I can do part over whole. So that would be 24 over 60. Well, look at that. You have a fraction now, don't you? So top in, bottom out. Can 60 go into 24? No, it cannot. So add a decimal, add a 0. 60 can go into 240. 60. 120, 180, 240, 4 times. So 0.4. Some of you are like, I'm done. And no, you're not. Because it says what percentage. So you take your decimal and move it 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Oh, there it is. 40% is your final answer. Nice and easy. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit for you guys. I'll keep this up here for a second. Oh, what a rough weekend. What a rough weekend. Cowboys lost. But hey, I'm going to give them credit. They didn't do what they normally do. And I don't think they choked. They were just beat by a better team. So they didn't quit. And I can appreciate that as a fan. They did not quit. They kept fighting. So enough of that. Season's over. Look forward to next year. Let's go ahead and continue. Quadrant 2. Use the bar model to solve problems. The team had 5 of their 20 players. What percentage of their players did they have? Well, look at this. It's got the bar already set up for us, nice and easy. Let's look for a scale factor. Here's what we're solving for, my little question mark. Well, it gives me a very nice scale factor. To go from 20 to 100, you can multiply by 5. Therefore, 5 times 5 is 25%. You're done. That's it. Some of y'all are going to say, well, to get from 5 to 20, that's a scale factor of 4. So if I go in the opposite way, 100 divided by 4 is 25. Well, look at that. Same answer. So there's always more than one way to solve a math problem, guys. Okay. So let's look at quadrant 3 now. Finding the percent. There are 20 painters. 14 of these painters, of these painters, 14 of them are painting the interior of the theater. What percent of these painters are painting the interior? Again, percent bar. I'm very big on these. I can't emphasize that enough. Why am I so big on them? It organizes your material so nice and easy. You just have to make sure you label your part and your whole or your percent correctly, whatever it gives you. Now it says there are 20 painters. Well, that's your whole. That's how many total painters there are. 14 of them are painting the interior. Well, it gives us the part now too. The question says what percent, so we're solving for percent. Look how easy that was to set up. Now let's solve. Is there a scale factor? Yes, there is. To get from 20 to 100, you multiply by 5. So what is 14 times 5? I'm going to let you solve that problem, guys. 14 times 5. For one algebra test, John had to answer 40 questions. Of these 40 questions, John answered 38 of them correctly. What percent did John get on his algebra test? Okay, again, percent bar. What information does it give you? Well, I hear some people say it gives you the whole. There's 40 total questions. Well, that's a good start. It also gives you the part. It tells you how many he got correct. Well, that is also good. That is right. We're solving for the percent. All right. Well, is there a good scale factor? To get from 38 to 40, that's not a good scale factor. To get from 40 to 100, that's not a good scale factor. So guess what you get to do? It's just like on quadrant 1, number 2. You have a part and you have a whole. 38 over 40. Well, guess what, guys? You have a fraction. You need to do top in, bottom out. Great news. I'm not going to finish solving that one. You get to practice. Let's move on to quadrant 4. Keith went to his local zoo that featured 12 monkey exhibits. If the zoo features 16 exhibits in total, then what percent of the zoo's exhibits feature monkeys? All right, here we go. Percent bar. Again, Mr. Nolan, I can set this up all on my own. All right, well, I got this part started. Let's see if you can set it up and solve this one all on your own. This one should not be hard. It's finding the percent, just like you've been doing this entire page. Same thing with number 7. I'm going to start by just putting up the percent bar. Your job is to go in there, finish setting up the percent bar nice, and solving it. Alright, so you get to do a little practice on your own now. Let's flip to the back side. Quadrant 1 on the back. The table below shows the results of a survey for, let me start over. The table below shows the results of a survey for a class's favorite subject. Based on the results, what percentage of students chose math as their favorite subject? Well, first of all, I don't agree with this table here. It should automatically be 100% of the students like math. Plain and simple. Alright, so here we go. How many students liked math? Well, 8 students liked math. How many total students were surveyed? 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 plus 10 is 25. Some of you are like, Mr. Noland, you didn't set up a percent bar. Alright, well, here's my percent bar just for you. My whole is how many total students were surveyed. And that would be your 25. Your part is how many liked math. That would be 8 of them. You're solving for the percent. I got it set up, you solve. Question 2. Based on the results, percentage of students chose reading and science. So based on the results, what percentage of students chose reading and science? Well, guys, you have to answer question 1 before you can answer question 2. Alright. You get to solve the rest of those on your own. Finding the part now. What is 20% of 180? Percent bar. Now, it gives us some key information. It gives us our percentage, 20%. Notice how I put the 20% closer to 0 because it is closer to 0. So let's see. Now we have to do... we have to figure out if this is the part of the whole. So let's see here. What is 20% of 180? Keyword here is of. Now remember, key vocabulary words. Of, and your part is the is. Well, some are going to say, well, there's an is, so the 180 goes here. No, it doesn't. What is 20%? The is going with the 20%. Notice the word of is in front of a whole number. So, whenever you see the of in front of a whole number, this number represents your total. Alright. Now, the only time you are going to multiply is when you are solving for the part. So let's see here. You see how these two numbers are across from one another? Whenever they are across from one another, all you do is cross multiply. Some of you are going to say, but there's a scale factor here too. There is. You can say to get from 20 to 100, you multiply by 5. So 180 divided by 5 will give you that. Very true. But I want you to practice cross multiplying because you're not always going to get some nice numbers like this. So let's see. 180 times 20%. What is 20% as a decimal? It is 0.2. Let's see. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. Move your decimal back one place. Oh. Well, it's right there. It's 36. So the part is 36. If you tell me 36%, you will be wrong. We're not solving for a percent. We're solving for the part. Now, the rest of these on this page are solving for the part, just like what you did here. So I'm going to leave the rest just for you. I'm not going to set up or anything. You get to set up and you get to solve. So if you are in regulars, you are now done. Pre-AP. Let's flip to the backside. Percent of change. Darren makes $12 per hour. Next semester, he will be making $14 per hour. What rate of increase does this represent? Well, on your test, there's two things you're going to have to do. You're going to have to tell me if it's an increase or a decrease, and then we're going to have to find the percent of change. We are going to be like, well, this is an increase because it says it right there. On your test, you're not going to be so lucky. We're going to make you determine it. So the way you determine if it's an increase or a decrease, go from your original to your new. So to go from original to a new, did the number go up or down? In this case, it went up, so that is an increase. So in PreAp, the second part of your test, you're going to have two different answers for each question. There's the first answer. Now, we're going to have to find the percent of change. The way you do that is you find the difference from your original to your new. So the difference from 12 to 14, the difference is 2. And now you're going to put that over the original. So what was your original amount for this case? The original amount made was 12. Well, look at this. You now have a fraction. So do top and bottom out. Can 12 go into 2? No, it cannot. So I'm going to add a decimal. Add your 0. 12 can go into 20 one time. 12 can't go into 8, so I'm going to add a 0 back here. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72. Oh, look at that, it went in there 6 times. Well, would you look at this? This number is going to repeat. So I'm going to put a bar over that 6. It's just going to keep repeating. 0.1666 forever and ever and ever. Now we're going to have to turn this decimal into a percent. So take your decimal, move it 2 places to the right. And you're going to get 16.6 with the bar over it percent. And now you got your two answers. It was a 16.6% repeating percent, and it was also an increase. Again, you will have to solve for both of those on the second part of your test. Now, that leaves 2 problems for you to do on your own. I'm not going to set them up. I'm not going to help you out one bit on those. I want you to try these first. Alright guys, I hope this video helps. Have a great day, guys. Bye.